Okay, so nobody's getting the truth from the mainstream media, folks. It's well past time to open your eyes, your ears, and your mind. Do your own research because something isn't right here. And if you can't see that, you are not paying attention, folks.
It's the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. Now that's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The important message that we need Australians to get vaccinated as quickly as possible. In line with that, I do encourage all Australians to please go and book your vaccinations as soon as you can if you haven't already done so.
Emma, get away!
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Okay, we need to stand up against this tyranny, folks. Stop giving away your freedoms and liberties, because the more you give up, the more these people will take until you have absolutely nothing left. That's their agenda. Well, good evening again. Here we are. And wow, I think after looking into this week, guys, what's gone on, I think we can all say that something very, very suspicious is going on in the background. A lot of things are adding up. Some of the spaces one of the spaces I was lucky enough to have time to get onto today. Very, very interesting. Some people have got some really good stuff out there about what's going on. We're going to get a few of them on for some interviews. But guys, in Australia, we have got the politicians going the back door on your speech. Okay, we've beaten them hands down. How many times? Now they've just voted 117 to 13. So again, who are these 117? No doubt we'll know who they all are very soon. If we don't know already, it's probably out there. But yeah, guys, mate, what do you say? 117 of them want to pass these hate speech laws. So, you know, we've got some work to do again, guys. All right. This doesn't stop, but gee, this looks good the way it's going down. This is the most brilliant thing I've ever seen, actually. You know, it's just falling into place, like, you know. And here we are, we got Bill Gates, right, issuing chilling warnings about the future. All right, and that there, and if you know, we're USA, you know, we're going to have like outbreaks of pandemics. Yeah, well, of course we will, Bill. But guess what? You guys are running out of money, mate. All right, and you're getting chased down very, very quickly. So for anyone my age, me and Cazz had a bit of a laugh about this. We don't know how he's going to appear on stage, whether he'll be in a wheelchair or he'll have one of them little Zimmer frames like my mum used to have. But Ozzy Osbourne is to reunite with Black Sabbath for a farewell concert. It might be farewell on the night of the concert, I reckon, if Ozzy gets up to his old tricks and does what he usually does before he goes on stage. And the propaganda goes on, guys. All right, The Guardian. Australian foreign aid workers fear deaths and suffering will result from Trump's halt to US aid. No. The collapse of the deep state is what's going to happen with USA, because we all know exactly what it was. Okay? It's as simple as that, guys. We all know now what it was. Okay, so They can't get away with it. And here they are. The CIA believes that COVID-19 was created in a Chinese lab. No. COVID was actually, guys, the people who we were listening to some information today on a space, and I'm going to have this lady on in for an interview. Actually, we're going to do a show. But yeah, you'll be surprised what happened here. All right. Some people were actually put on disability, sent home from a lab. All right. And they didn't know why they were getting put on disability, and were told, look, you'll find out within a couple of weeks. Well, guess what? The lab that they were working in America, everyone in there got sick, extremely sick. And guess where that virus that they were working on was taken a couple of weeks later? You guessed it. So the old CIA, we know what you are up to, all right? You are the reason for it, right? You, the Pentagon, the military-industrial complex, and the backing of Israeli agenda. So there we go. Now, look, this is great because I think everyone should be shopping where me and Mel shop. But guys, Coles has been slammed over a mass product cull. So they're going to squeeze you out. All right. They're coming. All right. You're eating too well. You're still too, what they call, in the paddock over here in Australia, even though they're poisoning you very well with everything that they're giving you. But yeah, there you go. Coles is about to cut a lot of produce, guys, out of your selection, which I think is a great thing. But I mean, for the normies and that's they won't understand what's going on or why, and that's why this show's so important, guys, and this is why it needs to be shared out everywhere and got around the place. So, right, come on in, Cazza.
Oh, well, we've got heaps of news. Let's start off with some local stuff. This is Sean. I think he's been on their show.
I've applied for 75 jobs through Seek alone. I could count on one hand and have digits left over how many employers actually responded. I am highly skilled and I have a number of high-risk work licences. However, I am not alone. A vast number of Australians are now finding themselves out of work and destitute, and all thanks to the Australian government, whom are now allowing an influx of low-skilled immigrants, bin sitters and scab labour into our country, and whom are now displacing Australian workers. In 2023, the Labor government allowed 536,000 immigrants into the country, and whilst in 2024 they allowed 446,000. No one begrudges immigration. We all come from somewhere. However, if the work is not available and there's no infrastructure to support them, and when it's used to drive down wages, conditions and standards of living, and when Australians can't get jobs, then we have to address the problem. The Liberal and Labor Party do not represent the interests of the Australian people. They are an outright disgrace, and they merely represent the interest of big business and the multinational corporations.
True. Now we
that's Mr. Sean Ambrose, guys, from up the road from our town. But yeah, Sean's all over all the industrial stuff and quite awake of what's going on. Yeah.
And we talked yesterday about a lady who was returning to work and she applied for a receptionist job, and there were 1,200 other applicants, over 1,200 other applicants for a receptionist job. That's the low end stuff. Yep. And you can see here
that was skilled workers. He was talking about 500,000 Cazz. That's what I picked up in his language, wasn't it? It was actually 500,000 skilled workers. So on top of that,
I think he said low skilled.
What do you say?
I think he said low skilled. Did he say skilled or low skilled?
I'm just wondering whether that actually takes into account what we're flying in here in migration, or is he just talking about a workforce side of some numbers here for the government, and then we've got to add on the migration that's coming in?
Well, considering they want to destroy us, I would say that it's probably both, or it's probably an add-on, because if you look here, this is a workplace and I've seen so many of them, and the workers didn't show up because of the potential ICE raid.
This is what happens to a job site when they hear ICE is coming. I shit you not. Ghost town.
Now, everywhere I've seen videos of such things where the workplace is just completely empty. That's how many illegals in the United States have been.
Yep. Look, they're going to take him out of the United States, and and look, the Patriots are there. Trump will make the place work, mate. We know exactly what he's doing, Cazz. We're watching it play out. So you know, don't worry about what you're seeing over there. You know, the people, and they'll get good wages because, you know, Trump's got the excess of money now to be able to pay people good wages, to be able to put the right companies back on their feet, you know, and subsidize and do what he has to do because they've got hold of the deep state's money, guys. All right, this US Agency for International Development that was their golden child, man. And
it was one of them.
It was one of them.
Apparently
Exactly.
there's more. Yeah. One of them, yeah. So, but look, here's the thing: is that while this is going on, this is what our government's doing. Now, this is care of Anthony over at Australians versus the Agenda, and he's basically said that this hate bill has basically passed, 41-6. He has said, but he also made note that Roberts again did not vote. Interesting. And this is from Topher.
I got 117-13, so I don't know what's gone on there. But anyway, let's see.
You know, that was at the lower house. This is actually passed the Senate as well. Ah. So Roberts is a senator. Okay, so Topher's actually commented. He said, a few quick points. Mandatory minimum sentences are always a bad idea. No exceptions. Speech that urges violence is already illegal under incitement laws. Words are not violence. No one has ever been punched by a pronoun. These laws will be abused just as Section 18C has been abused. Yes. And the bill is not about actually fixing the problem. It's about the optics of politics. And it's also about coming down on us. So.
Okay. Pauline and Roberts were no shows on the vote, but what we're seeing here anyway. So, yeah. Should have been in there doing all you could to actually get up and disrupt it so they couldn't even have the vote. That's what I would have been doing if I was in there. Making that much of a ruckus in there that the vote couldn't go on.
No, they just remove you.
Yeah,
so, well. Yeah. But, yeah, look, here's, you know, just is what it is. We are having some wins, though, and probably one of the biggest wins today is Selene against the Machine, and she has won. And she went up against the SEC, against the e-safety commissioner. And so here it is. She goes, free speech. Basically, one for free speech. So, yeah, she went up against them and she won, but it's quite a scathing report. Now, that is on the heels of Milk Bar TV, Nathan over at Milk Bar TV. He interviewed the person from the Freedom Speech Union, and I'll just cue it here. But anyway, have a listen to this.
The e-safety commissioner for Julian McGrant and for the office itself after this finding.
Well, she should resign and the office should be abolished. I mean, it's gone out off the rails, hasn't it? I mean, it needs radical reform if it is to exist at all. It needs proper governance. It needs due process. It needs people who respect fundamental human rights such as freedom of expression.
So he's called for it to be abolished, and he's called for it to be abolished. So, now on top of that, you've got this one here, Matt I can never pronounce his name. Kamanzuli. Now he's running running in the next election, and he says we must now watch our words very carefully. Australia's speech laws are now at the mercy of political activists and courts. Subjective verdicts fix penalties. Reckless speech is subjective. It is reckless speech. Everybody can be guilty of reckless speech. How many times do people say "F you"? Like it's ridiculous. We are no longer living in a free country. We must get Australia back, and he's 100% correct there.
Yep, you're dead right. This is what they're doing, guys. They are going to keep squeezing it in, all right? And now they're going to try and scare the shit out of people by making an example of a few people, right? And trying to pull these laws on. So let's get ready for it, guys. You ready for a fight? Because you got one coming. You got another one coming.
Well, it's interesting because Punters Politics has already figured it out as far as the voting goes.
Okay, so we're down in the polls. How do we bring this thing back? We need a strong message. How about we are not them? We are not them. That's pretty good. And it worked last time, but it didn't work for the Democrats against Trump. But Dutton is not as charismatic as Trump, and he's nowhere near as good at dancing as Trump is, so I think this could work still. But punters could still vote for a third party or an independent ahead of us. True, I forgot about that. How do we make people forget that here in Australia they don't have to just choose between us two major parties? Oh, we could just tell them that if they don't vote for us, then they will get elected. Yes, and we could say that if you criticise us for, I don't know, not standing up to mining corporations or gambling companies, property developers, or Rupert Murdoch, we can just say that if you criticise us, then you're helping them get elected. I think it could work. All right, good. Hey, what's a meme?
Exactly how it does work. This is how they talk in the background, guys, right? They just, they sort it out. We already know who's coming. I've already told you who's going to be in.
No, we're going to run the biggest... We're gonna run the biggest "Don't vote for any of them" campaign that you've ever seen. You guys need to get on board. Everyone needs to be creating memes. Some smart person come up with a slogan. You know, we need to basically make sure that we just make sure none of them get elected. You know, people. Here's the thing about it. Okay, when you share, so somebody might resist it for the first time. Second time they might resist it. Third time they start to pay attention. So by the time they've seen something 4 and 5 times, then it starts to sink in. And we've just seen from the Democrats, from the Oz A thing, that it was all a farce. They were paying not only the political opposition, but they're actually playing Politico, Reuters. So it was all manufactured. So 10,000 voters were registered to the one social security number in Arizona. It's all fraud. Everything's been fraud. There is no left. There is no Democrats. There's only a few people at the top who've been engaged in a massive amount of corruption.
Exactly.
All right.
Yep.
Let's have a look at this. This guy, look at it. Look at the size of this fish.
Awesome, guys. Check this out. This is at the weir. No, it's not. It's at the dam. Look at this guy.
That's a barramundi, folks. That's a meal and a half. He's looking pretty chuffed.
That is decent, man. Second day of barra season.
Second day of barra season. Just open up the back of the ute and throw this fella in. That's gold, isn't it? Sorry about the rain up there, guys, but if it's washing up barra like that, most of it will. Get the lemon, get the onion, get the garlic, get going.
And that's it. All right, we're almost at 20 past, so I'm going to bring in our friends of the show. This is really important, guys. Aura Guard. We often talk about...
This is important. Yep.
Yeah, we often talk about EMP stuff, and a friend of the show has actually done something about it, so make sure you support.
Now it's time for Friends of the Show.
This week's Friends of the Show is Aura Guard, a small family-owned business based in Sydney. Aura Guard specialise in EMF protective clothing to help reduce exposure. They sell beanies, caps, grounding mats and Faraday pouches. Find them at auraguard.com.au.
And I have an interview coming up very soon, guys. It'll probably be next week, I'd say. With a dear lady that I know, and I hadn't seen her for a while, but we caught up again today, and I've been harping on about this electromagnetic radiation poisoning for a while, guys, quite a while. So we're going to bring someone on who's very good in that field to let you know exactly how they are doing this, all right, and through what means they are making it work. So that is going to be very interesting. Don't miss it.
Well, we have lots of news coming out of the United States. Oh my goodness. It is absolutely crazy. So let's go to first of all, let's go to the J6 stuff, because that's crazy in itself. So you've got this. Now, this guy here, he was
Lego Man.
Yeah. No, he's the FBI agent. Baker Doherty was in the crowd at the Capitol and entered the government's alleged restricted area, then went on to conduct SWAT raids on J6s who did the same thing. So, and then you've got this situation where this Green Beret master, Sergeant Jeremy Brown, was fully pardoned by Trump, but is still being tortured in federal prison system by the rogue Bureau of Prison Officials, thumbing their nose at the president. So unbelievable. And then, of course, you have Lego Man.
That's that film. I can't see the screen that well. I thought
and they're passing by very dangerous objects like the Holy Bible or the United States Constitution, and so they actually stumble across a collection of Legos that I had in my apartment. The Legos were there because I think I love Legos and they awaken the engineer in all of us. But also, I also like the idea of bringing Legos into the classroom so that, my students could kind of chill out a little bit, But what they pretended that they found was like the holy grail of January 6th, and it was none other than a Lego model kit of the United States Capitol that the Lego company manufactured and sold. So what they did was they take this box of Legos and try to claim that I planned all of January 6th with these Legos. How ridiculous is that? So they take it to court. The judge obviously notices how ridiculous this is and then asks the obvious question, how is any of this possible if the Legos are still in the box? So they literally tried to pin the whole thing on me. They called me the architect of the insurrection, and the Lego Man was born. The internet never forgot. And I'm not really dropping the name because it was a shred of dark comedy that came out of this, kind of something to make you laugh. But it also goes to show how far the Biden DOJ was willing to go in order to sell a lie to the American public that our group was actually trying to overthrow the government on January.
And yet it's coming out more and more. It's coming out more and more that the real insurrectionists is what we've been saying since the beginning. The real insurrectionists were Nancy Pelosi and her crew, Chucky Schumer, who were the ones who were in on it, who staged it and caused it. And very interesting times, extremely interesting.
Lego, it's just unreal, eh? Lego, like a Lego model of the White House. Well, I'll be. Throw away your Lego, guys. Anyone's got one of, if they were stupid enough to make one of Australian Parliament House, it could not be good to have. Look out. You'll be insurrectionist.
Well, the thing is, it's pretty, well, it's just, but like that, regardless of everything that's happening, like we're still winning, let's actually go the Oz Aid because it's just a gift that keeps on giving at the moment. The level of absolute fraud and corruption you have, the whole thing is just grab the wrong screen there. So now Tom Renz, one of the things that people were saying is that there was going to be a lawsuit because they were going to challenge it. Tom Renz, who is a lawyer, he went and had a look at it. Now what he discovered is that where the legislation was actually really clever, and he says what you have to understand is that he's just repurposed a government software agency that Obama created. He said, so there's actually been no laws made, and actually it's from the previous two previous administrations ago. So that's how they've managed to move so quickly on with the whole Doge thing, because it's under the guise, well, it's just repurposed software.
Obama also changed the military tribunal laws, all right, and he made these changes to them, and all right, but that got reversed with Trump, and what happened was it opened it up so that Trump could actually make these laws work for him and us, we the people. So some really interesting stuff coming, guys. Get ready for the next interview.
And it's a bit of a Haman's trap. It's really interesting because I remember several years ago, I think even Kim Clement prophesied Haman's trap. Very interesting. For those of you that don't know, Haman was in the Bible, in the book of Esther, and he set a trap and it was sprung, and he was actually discovered, and he ended up dying in his own trap that he'd built. So now what is really fascinating with all of this as well is the development that's coming out with regards to it. And one of them is this. Now, this is the Treasury, and Elon has proposed putting the US Treasury on a cryptocurrency type blockchain for spending transparency. And the thing about the blockchain is everyone knows everything. It's called a trustless system because you don't actually need to, everything's out in the open. You can't hack it. So for those of you that don't understand, the blockchain is where you have a bit of information and then you've got multiple computers across the network that have got the same information. Okay, so they all verify it. And so it's very interesting because I'm wondering what's going to come out of the Treasury when they audit that.
I heard Trump
I think
saying
that will
Rupert
be-
Murdoch was a good guy. Well, look out what's about to happen to Rupert Murdoch then, guys. That's what I'd say to you. All right, because, yeah, there's some big exposure in the Murdoch family to come, don't you worry. So, yeah, it's interesting that he's saying that. Look out. Watch it.
And this is what we've discovered today, okay? So Politico and Reuters, was it Reuters? No, no, it was Reuters, as well as American Press. We're all getting money. You've got this
ABC,
as well. Now, this
everyone.
Everybody. Stanford University, through AusAid funding, took down Parler and targeted Tucker Carlson, Laura Loomer, Sean Hannity, Dan Bongino, Eric Trump, Babylon B, PragerU, Alex Jones, and Gateway Pundit.
What do you
So,
think,
like, you've got...
what do you think was so important about Parler that they took it down with Dan? Was it Dan Bongino? What was the part of Parler, do you think, that was so, like, Rumble and everything's still up there? Why did Parler get attacked like it did?
Because it was more like a Facebook app, and I'd say that Meta didn't want any kind of threats. You also got AusAid was giving $68 million to the World Economic Forum. Klausy was taking that money and then basically funneling, and so was Soros, and then funneling it back to commit fraud on their people. It's outrageous. But here's the thing that gets me is the subscriptions. So the subscriptions, this is Disney, and Disney lost 700,000 subscribers. AusAid had 700,000 subscriptions to Disney. Chelsea Clinton took home 84 million. Like, and it wasn't like, it's just the level of fraud is just incredible. It's absolutely mind blowing. No wonder they're fighting so hard to try and keep everyone not looking at it.
Yeah.
To hide it. They've been caught now, and also the thing about it is the massive amount of funding for illegal immigrants. That's why there's no money. Here is just a list. This is just one list, okay? This is to different. This is the Lutheran Family Services, multiple organisations that bring in immigrants, okay, or illegals, okay. It is like those numbers are hundreds of thousands, okay, and millions. 75 million, that one. It's 97 million, 140 million. Like, we are talking about millions and millions and millions, if not billions of dollars for bringing in illegals.
And our government's doing the same thing, guys. We know this is America, all right, but we're just showing you where the data is available at the moment. This is what's going on around the Western world.
They got the playbook from the USA. That's where they got it from. So, mind you, we're having some good things. You know, Caroline Levitt was asked about the girls today. You got this one?
Yeah.
Order set to be signed today. You said that this will be enforced. Can you spell out for schools and the public how exactly the administration plans to enforce this, even at the local levels? And on top of that, there are human rights groups who say that this could expose kids to discrimination. What is your response to that?
I think kids have already been exposed to discrimination, especially young women and girls who have been forced to shower in locker rooms with biological men, who have been forced to compete on playing fields with biological men, which is incredibly unfair and unsafe, and again, an incredibly unpopular policy with the American people. As for the actions that this executive order takes, I already laid those out at the beginning of the briefing. I'm happy to give you a copy of this fact sheet so you can let your audiences across the country know.
Yeah, they don't want to let their audiences across the country know.
Well, now also there's a lot of humour that's come out about this USA thing, and I like this one.
Department of Government Efficiency. We were looking over last year's budget and we found some anomalies that we wanted to address. Okay, if you're talking about the military budget, if you want a safe country, that's how much we... Oh, we didn't even start looking at that yet. Get ready for that. No, we were looking at this list here. We wanted to start with the National Pillow Fluffing Initiative. I mean, don't you want your pillow to be fluffy? Not when you're spending over $1 million of taxpayer money. We're cutting that. Also, the Bureau of Elevator Music Standards. Explain yourself. Forgive me for trying to set the vibe, bro. $800,000 a year. The National Velcro Noise Study. What's the problem here? You don't have to spend $1 million a year to know that Velcro noise is annoying. Now, the Program of Ice Cube Uniformity and the American Cloud Watching Fund. Okay, that one's a problem, but I'm kind of OCD and I like it when my ice cubes are all the same size and shape, you know? Yeah, we all do, but that doesn't mean you spend $1 million. Now, the Federal Kazoo Orchestra Grant? It's amazing what they could do with those things, honestly. The Federal Bureau of Traffic Cone Counting? $256,343. You're welcome. Now that's what I call $800,000 well spent.
They're being mocked everywhere now. I've seen a few Democrats as well, basically saying, "I'm done with being a Democrat. This is what's been going on." So, and they're a poor level of criminality as well. You also have Pam Bondi, who's called for the Epstein list, which we want.
He was on the plane, not only on the plane a couple times, multiple times. He traveled internationally with Jeffrey Epstein, and he was on the plane called the Lolita Express because it supposedly had a bed in there where Jeffrey Epstein had young girls. He has been a friend of his, a continuing friend of his for years and years. Contrast that with Donald Trump, who hasn't spoken to him in many years, over a decade, after he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago for bad behavior. So that's the difference there. And I think Americans see the two-tier justice system. But, you know, we don't know. They're saying Clinton has not been to his private island, but he has traveled all over the world with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes, we want those Epstein lists.
We want the list, and we want the 28 names for Australia. We want a lot of stuff, guys, and we deserve a lot of stuff, and then a lot of people deserve to go down. So hang on to your hats, guys. It's breaking open over there. All right, it is going to happen here. All right, and as I said to you, by the end of February, March, most people in America for sure going to have a pretty good understanding of what's gone on. Now, how that flickers down and trickles into Australia and how our Mockingbird media actually, gets twisted to release this, I don't know. But I know that release is coming, guys.
All right. Now, this is our Freedom Truck. Now, these guys are in court is it Friday morning?
Yep.
I think Phil said it's Friday morning from 8.
Yeah.
Is it tomorrow morning? So from 8 to 8:30, anyone who's going on their way to Canberra, if they can go to the Magistrates Court. We also need somebody in the Ipswich area. If anyone's got a house available, we have a freedom fighter that needs a house. We also have a house available 100 clicks north of Tamworth for somebody that needs a house. So we need a house in Ipswich, but there is a house on offer in 100 clicks north of Tamworth. And Chick Fenton's birthday is today, so we wish her happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Chick. And we also need my poster up. Remember, we keep forgetting to put up my poster about I want these guys on the show. All right, guys, I want you to get on them, send them an email.
Here. Yeah, no, I have it here.
All right, we want these guys on the show, right? This is the time, guys, all right? We need public pressure on these guys, all right? Mins, you love going on with what's his name from the UC, or whatever that is, the cage fighting. Dana White. You love having your little interviews with your celebrities, mate. Get down here with the real people, right? And come and have a chat to us about how you're screwing our lives, you wanker. You and Brian Park and Paul Scully. Bunch of Muppets. Get on the show.
Very good. All right, so there's a couple of really interesting things that have been happening. Now, I've actually seen these, and they've been around for a really long time. Somebody's actually looked into them.
From Switzerland and America have been studying what these fibers that they're finding all over people's farms, in nature, on trees. A lot of people were saying, what is all over my farm? They looked like spider webs, but they were more durable and looked different a little bit. So these scientists over the last couple of years have spent a lot of time looking at what were those fibrous but organic, man-made, spiderweb looking things. What were they made of? And it's what we all feared. And these scientists, near the end of the video that I'm going to show, actually say they're worried for their lives. The update of this just came out. They are spraying fibers on us that are hollow and deliver payloads. And they found that there is toxic biologics going inside of these strands. Here's some pictures.
The project that we're talking about here and disclosing is a lab analysis we did on these mysterious strings that came from the skies here in Switzerland, not just here in Switzerland. They actually were evidenced and picked up from North Italy all the way across all of Europe, inclusive Switzerland, Austria, Germany, and also the Netherlands. And so this is something that people were aware of. And says, guys, go ahead and start accumulating all these things and send it in so we can look at it. We have a few patents that validate that this technology exists, but extremely well experienced professional in regards to the lab analysis. And so he helped us establish a lab team in the background. And so it took us a long time. It took about 22 months from the day we start getting those strings picked up from different places across Europe to where we, in the late fall this past year in 2024, were able to actually disclose our lab analysis. Literally anyone that has access to a lab, any nation, anyone could actually validate this themselves. And we're here to help them with what methods that have been used and applied.
And the fact that we now know that these things can actually carry their vessel, a carrier essentially, for God only knows what.
What we have found out could give us some really good ideas of where this is actually leading, where it's coming from, and who is behind it. And here, Hans-Jörg Retter, diplomated engineer, application chemist, he's going to give us the main part of this presentation here today, together with his lab analysis. It has really nothing to do with a spider web. It's extremely sticky, but the people may have some of those. After this presentation, I don't think that people will touch this bare hand. We tell anybody, if you collect those mysterious strings, to absolutely wear plastic gloves. They're extremely toxic, we have learned, and you guys will all find out this evidence. Now here, I'm showing you and the viewers a few of those samples and how they came into our organization.
If you don't think this is an all-out assault,
the Swiss nonprofit, right? But this is spread out the nation as well. That's
well, that's it.
Every
and it's
angle,
multiple,
guys.
and it's multiple layers as well. This is a lady, and she's tracked down the chemtrail pilot, but it's
hi. Yes. Thanks. Thank you. Good to see you. I'm here. You're Tim, right?
No.
Oh no.
No. I don't know a Tim.
Jody?
No, don't know. Well, I know a Jody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jody Fisher?
No, yeah, I know Jody Fisher.
You do? Okay, good.
Yeah.
And then who are you?
I'm one of the other captains.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So come on outside. Or not. Or just whatever. Are you free now?
No, I gotta reflare.
Okay, so
stuff, but
I have paperwork for you that I want to give to you. So hang tight, I'll go get it. But then we've been trying to reach Jody and you for a long time.
Okay.
And we are tired of you dumping heavy metals all over our county.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not the one to talk to about that.
No, but you are. But you're the one that's doing it. So I've been taking rain samples. I have over 20 samples. And every time you fly, we get high amounts of aluminum, barium, strontium, titanium, magnesium. So I want to know, are you aware of what you're doing? I know you think it's like to increase water supply for Turlock and Modesto, but it's not really happening.
Yeah, you can talk to them.
I've tried.
About that,
I've called them, and they're not calling me back. So we're now getting really involved, and now we're going to...
So she's tracked them down and recorded them, which is, really interesting.
Yep. Which is what we should be doing over here, guys. I know everyone's got a lot of things to do. I said, but if you have an interest in the poison that you would like to stop that poison coming down on top of you, well, this is what we need to do. We need to track them down. All right. And we need to get them on the show here and expose them. I'll expose them. All right. But I can't research all day to find them, guys. All right. I can do my best. Okay. But I need help. We need help. Okay. So let's find some of these people. They are killing you. They are absolutely killing you. And we're just sitting here letting them do it. We know where the airports are. We know chemtrans, could possibly be carting the chemicals. We know some of the airlines that are involved with dumping the stuff. I've been on airplanes lately to see the little doobie walkers out the back of the plane. All right, but they won't let you film on the tarmac.
Now, one of the other things is that there's multiple levels. So, like as you just seen there with the spraying and things like that, it's going on. Also the same with the AusAid. Now, George Webb, who's an investigative journalist, he's also talked about Kolomoisky and the Chinese surveillance of through the AusAid.
About attention and what stories the media picks up and promotes and pushes is going to be the key to this USAID story. I've talked about Kolomoisky, $11 billion, paying off the Chinese, surveillance on every man, woman, and child. But Mike Benz, 10 times the footprint that I have, has talked about transgender rap groups in Bangladesh for USAID. Transgender rap.
Now, what he's talking about there is he's saying, okay, you're all getting upset about it, and he's saying about Mike Benz. But the thing is, he said that he has tracked down. So Kolomoisky was the backer of Zelensky in the Ukraine. He's also, I think, a partner of Hunter Biden. But he took, I think he says, $11 billion they took from AusAid, given for the Chinese to be able to surveil every man, woman, and child in the United States.
Yep. Unbelievable.
In Bangladesh.
So the multiple levels of what's been going on is just incredible. So, yeah.
Hey, Braden, get that film over to me, mate, and a little explanation of what it is, bloke. Let's put it out there. We know what it is. Let's start, right? Let's start exposing these guys. So, yeah, I'd love to have that info, mate. Thank you.
We're being taken out by the Rocking Housewife. So, Dave, if you would like to close the show.
Yeah, guys, all right. We got a couple of great interviews coming up, okay? I'm going to have to do a few of them. One's going to be a special next week, Wednesday night, I think it is, isn't it? The 12th, is that right? Yeah, I think the 12th. Thursday, is it? Okay, and then we're going to have some daytime ones, guys. One coming up with Jim Price, another one coming up with a lady that I know from Twitter. Some really interesting stuff, all right? Some groundbreaking stuff, all right? First stuff hot off the press. And yeah, there's a lot going on out there. There is so much being exposed, guys. But yeah, I just, you know, we got Chris Smith out there doing pretty well on the radio too, guys. If you get a chance to listen to the radio, get on and listen to Chris. All right, he's having people on there. Okay, he's talking. I'm going to see if I can get him on the show. I'm going to send him an email. But yeah, we just got to start and get involved in everything we can. All right, so let's just keep exposing, guys. Get more information to us. All right. You know, most people have got my number out there, okay, the log number here. Okay, so, you know, if I haven't seen something and it's important and you've sent it to me in one of my messages, guys, give me a call. All right, send an email to the website saying, Guru, you need to look at this from me. Because, guys, there's like, you got no idea how many come in, all right? No idea. So if you got important stuff, make sure you send me a message to say, Guru, you need to look at this. I've sent you a message, all right? And what channel you actually, whether it was Guru Aussie Insider, it was Kanga Guru, it was Dave Graham, it was Stop the Rot 2, whatever, okay? Then I can get to them, guys, all right? But get the info in. Let's expose these cretins and let's get on with our job here, guys, which is to expose these people, right? So we have the information to take to the public. That's what we've been doing. That's what's winning. Let's just keep going. Okay, thanks, guys.
I can't stand the destruction and divide. I think the government needs to resign. It's time, the death and destruction that's come from the COVID shots. The light darkens, what's their evil plot? Have you ever heard the cabal is calling the herd? That's what I have learned. Georgia Guidestones were not alive. This was a planned genocide. The cancers are on the rise. A mysterious fog burns people's eyes. Illegal migrants attack with machetes and knives, taking little girls, tears in their eyes. The police are just for show. Whenever there's trouble, they let it go. But let's solve all these problems by taking away free speech. No freedom to speak your mind. No further reach. Just hide everything away and pretend it's not there. It just goes to show you how much the government cares. I don't mean to be rude. The government has been pretty crude to the people, the ones that have put them there, throwing their responsibilities in the air. What's going on? Where's your fucking pride? Can't you see the government is taking us for a ride? We slave away all day with nothing to show. Inflation, housing crisis, the government has got to go.